when did you first start to notice any signs, or when did you first see any red flags for you?
I would probably say it was our wedding. Yeah,
right.
Our wedding in November 22. I was more like, oh, you know, I'm going to have to be watching Andre, because if not, he'll have a bit too much to drink and
He'll
all
tuck
of that.
in into the hospitality,
yeah. But he'd gone home by 9:30, 10:15. He just said, I'm going home, I've had enough, and off he went. So I was a bit like,
yeah,
that's not like him. Just thought maybe the day had got to him. Then it got so every morning he would go to the shop for his drink and he'd come back and he'd forget what he was going for.
So he had a routine, didn't he? Every day he'd go and get the same drink.
Same drink.
He'd come back.
But he would forget what he was going for, or he'd come back with something different, or he could go to the shop 3 or 4 times a day.
And what was it that prompted you to take him somewhere and seek some help, or to ask some questions?
He'd had changes in his behaviour, some quite inappropriately. So that was totally out of the norm for Andre. His speech, the way he was talking, and then obviously the forgetting of what he was going to buy. And I'd worked in a day centre with the Maltins, with people with autism, ADHD and all that, and I'd sort of put 2 and 2 together and thought, OK, maybe autism. So I took him to the GP, had the assessments, and yes, he scored very highly. We went private to get the diagnosis, and yes, he'd got autism, but there was just still something.
And what was that? Just a mum's intuition, really, or something? Because it's so interesting, isn't it? When you go somewhere and you get the news, you kind of want it. You don't want to hear.
Yeah.
But it answers some questions as well.
Yes, I mean, that answered a big lot, but there were still little things like the speech, because I knew his speech was gradually declining, which I knew didn't happen with autism. So or, you know, some people it does, but it's just, mum's intuition that...
And then in the end you got an MRI?
Yes, we went back to the GP, they sent us for an MRI scan, and then that's when we got the news that he'd got frontal atrophy, and the consultant said if he didn't know the scan he was looking at, he thought it was sort of like a 70-year-old that had got dementia.